You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. My guest today is Caroline Nderitu-Benjamin from CCL. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you.
CCL, acronyms, what does it mean?
CCL stands for Caroline Communications Limited, but we just abbreviate it as CCL because it's not really a Caroline show. There's more people in it, so that's why we just put CCL.
So tell us about CCL. When was it born? What does it do? What are your products?
CCL began as Caroline Communications. The idea was just to package all what I was doing in the line of communication. I was doing poetry performances, and these were corporate poetry performances. These are performances at the opening of functions, performances to advertise products, performances to give accolades to an outgoing director or an incoming chairman.
Tell me how, you came up with even having that as a business or something that you're offering.
For starters, I didn't choose to make it a business. I began with the music festivals, and I began performing when I was 4 years old. And even in Form 4, I think I was the only person allowed by the headmistress to do poetry just before the mock exams, because she knew what it meant to me. It gave me a reason to get people's attention because I had something to say and I was saying it in a different way. So where it goes back to our slogan, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. So even as a 4-year-old, I wanted to add an edge to performing, say, Bible verses, Humpty Dumptys, and all that. But with time, in fact, it was in KU, when I joined KU, to do home economics. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a teacher, yes, but a nutrition teacher. I was asked to write poems. So this is when I began writing. I was asked to write poems. And I said, no, I don't write poems. What I do is you give me a poem and I add the zing to it. Yeah. And they said, no, you write. Because the poem we want has not been written yet. And I thought, so people have a need for a certain poetry that doesn't exist. For instance, we are launching this faculty. It's never been there before, so nobody has written a poem about it. So I wrote for that. Then they said, could you write one for graduation? It's a new group. It's this guest of honor. The dynamics are as such, and no poem exists. Could one exist through you? And then began a whole other cycle, writing poems that do not exist for launches.
Wow, so were you being asked to write the poems and say them as well?
And recite them. In fact, perform them. That was inject all the life, panache, charisma into them so they can sort of carry the weight of the brilliance and the excellence of the occasion.
So I can see the talent in terms of you had a talent since 4 years old and you're doing it and probably the school is getting the glory.
Yes.
So when did this talent convert into something that you were actually being able to get paid for?
10, 11 years ago when somebody offered me 500 shillings. Oh my gosh, to do a poem. I was so excited. 500 shillings. The poetry performing was for me. I really enjoyed so much. When I did it for the Forum for African Women Educationalists, because of course they have to promote the girl child and they want the girl child to be compensated for her talent. And they sort of packaged my talent for me to see it as a real gift, to see it as a skill, to see it as something that as a woman, at that time it was all about being the woman, I have something already working for me. How can I use that to motivate other girls, show them how you have something within you going for you, and that can translate into a vocation?
So that was 11 years ago. Today we have CCL. Tell me about CCL today.
For you to break out into a bigger audience, out of your comfort zone, out of your locale, different audiences, executives, high-profile dignitaries. So you can connect with the highest in form of power and etiquette, but still in touch with the lady on the street, the man on the street, and the child. How do you balance that? So I got a lot of training to be a presenter.
So you have all this wealth of experience and also all this wealth of education, which you have brought into CCL. And are doing the poetry?
So the poetry grew now into helping other people, sharing what I learned, how to communicate, how to engage your audience, how to brush up on your delivery skills, establish eye contact, and the biggest monster of all, how to control your nerves and exude confidence, charisma, and panache.
If I want someone to do something for me in an event, what am I going to get from CCL?
Entertainment for your event, not just from Caroline Nderitu. You can get an MC, you can get a singer, you can get a dancer, you can definitely get customized corporate poetry. On the other side, you can come to school. You can get one-on-one executive coaching, private and confidential to just meet your needs as an executive. You can get in-house training. So you choose a communication need that needs to be addressed. We come and do the pre-assessment and create a syllabus for you. You can also get open courses. We'll have open courses in delegation skills, negotiation skills. Our forte, of course, is public speaking and presentation skills, assertiveness skills. You can also do the usual marketing and customer service, but in the line of communication.
Caroline, that's an amazing bouquet of products. We'll hear more. We need to go on a break now. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. My guest today is Caroline Nderitu-Benjamin from CCL. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you start with all these different things, when you started CCL, or did it evolve from, you started maybe with the poetry, and then tell me about the evolution of CCL.
It began with the poetry. It began with the passion for poetry. It began with poetry as a means to self-expression.
I'm looking at the business. So did you now register Carol Nderitu, and then start receiving phone calls and booking events? I mean, how did the business start?
The business side really, the rubber hit the road when I was asked to write now. Away from social skills, which are with us every day, so they are easy to write about. You can write about women and children, you can write about HIV/AIDS, you can write about starvation and hunger, because it's staring you in the face. So you have a product, and that's why I left my job. I had a product for a company, and it was going to go on tour, and I wrote a poem about this product. And I was going to go on tour reciting the poetry to appeal to people's emotion, and they can buy the product. All branded, the products, their products have been had to wear the sash, wear the corporate colors, and market the product, becoming relevant to pushing forward other people's businesses.
So then, were you doing it as an individual? Had you registered yourself?
I hadn't registered yet. One of these clients one time was the Communications Council of Kenya. Big project. And I went to collect my check, and I said, "You've deducted some money from here, 18%. And he told me, "Why have you done that?" And he told me, "That's VAT. I said, "But I don't pay VAT. I'm an artist. Artists do not pay VAT. They said, "No, you're not an artist, Caroline. You are a supplier. All you do is take the certificate to KRA, and they'll give you back your VAT." Straight off to KRA, and I said, "Could I please get my VAT back? I'm an artist." And they said, "At this point, you are a consultant, because you are creating for people. People are consulting you to further their product. You are a consultant, so you need to register for VAT. Then you can claim it." Register for VAT, I thought, okay, let's go the whole throttle. I'll become Caroline Communications. Let's do business.
Did you employ somebody else, or were you a one-man show? Yes. How did you evolve?
When I became Caroline Communications, so I got someone to do some of my promotions and some of my display tables as well. So I had 2 people. Then I thought, let me start a bit of, since I have a name now, I have a business name. Let's do some business here. Let's start with kids. So let's train kids how to express themselves. And I called it self-expression in confidence. So I had a lot of teachers who were training kids and marketers who were going out and getting kids to our holiday camps. Then the parents of the kids said, in fact, my child is very confident. I need to communicate. I need presentation skills. So we started training adults. When the adults came in, they came in as individuals. Then they became corporates. Corporates is a whole new ballgame. You need to be limited. So we had to register it now with my husband as a co-director into Caroline Communications Limited.
What are some of the challenges that you faced?
The challenges will include, you are not the first person to think of public speaking and presentation skills. Just to Google, for instance, how do I calm my nerves? You have 18 million answers to that. So the challenge was, just like my poetry, getting the poetry from the shelf to the stage, how do you get these skills from the internet into real everyday life? So the challenge has been packaging it so that it's meeting people's needs in a way that Google cannot.
Lessons learned. I mean, you've been doing this since 4 years old, and then, of course, as a business, 7 years and then 3 years as a limited company. What are some of the lessons that you've learned?
One of the biggest lessons is to not be afraid to learn. Do not be afraid of the critics, because when you have critics, it's brilliant. Somebody is watching you. So do not be afraid to learn. Don't have the know-it-all attitude, which is something I have to share with the executives that I train. They've been in the business for 60 years, and here I am telling them, I can hone your presentation skills. So do not be afraid to learn. And then secondly, you have a lot of potential. I have come to subscribe to the truth that there's a lot of wealth in the grave. To the point where I have made it the vision, the mission of CCL, to access people's inner potential. I have so much potential that I don't know what to do with. And that has been the lesson that so do other people. So much potential. The challenge is accessing that potential.
Wow. Caroline Communications Limited, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see?
For one, I will be sitting in your chair. I want to speak to people about their public speaking and presentation skills. We're going to have the road to self-expression. 5 years from now, we'll have the show, we'll have the talk show, we'll have the radio show. There's going to be one book, The Definitive Guide to Public Speaking, next year. But 5 years from now, there should be 5 books on definitive public speaking, communication, meeting management, social skills. Outspoken woman will be another enterprise. So all this is in 5 years.
Carol, thank you so much for coming to share your story with us. Definitely an inspiration. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business.
Road to Success is brought to you by Equity Bank.
Equity Bank, your listening, caring partner.